Hi there, Horst Henshaw here from the Pacifica Historical Society and tonight's host of Footprints of Pacifica. We get together every week to discover and explore the lore and the lore of lovely Pacifica, its characters and its characters. Tonight's focus is about the 1983 Terra Nova Volleyball Championship team. And with me in the guest studio is, joining me, three individuals from that 1983 team. We have Tanya Moe, we have Carrie Trainer, and we have Doreen Baswanian. And 30 years ago, Terra Nova's girls volleyball team competed for the State of California Championship. To this day, that 1983 team of Terra Nova is the only school team that has gone on to be a state tournament. They have basketball, football, baseball, softball, tennis, but never has a team gone on to represent the school at a state tournament. There were a lot of firsts for that team, coached by the 1976 graduate of Terra Nova, Tanya. The Lady Tigers won the North Peninsula League in easy fashion, going undefeated in league play. They won the Central Coast Section's Division II title and made an appearance at the state tournament. Carrie and Doreen were members of that team. Ladies, thank you very much for joining me tonight. And before we talk about that Cinderella 1983 team, please share with me maybe what you've been doing for the last 30 years. So, Tanya, we'll let you go first.
Hi, Horace. Thank you for having us here tonight. I have been teaching PE, and I'm also the athletic director at a local school, raising 4 kids.
Well, tell me, how did you get involved coaching that team in the first place?
Well, there was an opening for that position, and I applied and I got it. So I started coaching them. I pulled them all up when they were sophomores, and realizing that our goal was not going to be that year, but in a couple of years in the future, our goal was to win the championship.
And you're still coaching today then, huh?
No, not anymore. I enjoy watching. I enjoy watching now.
And Doreen? What 30 years ago?
Yeah, 30 years. I'm currently principal at Terra Nova High School right now. I started off in teaching PE as well, and then was pulled up to Terra Nova, and been in administration ever since. And a lot of how I do business and how I learn how to do things is through what I learned on that court those 4 years.
Well, you were an athlete yourself because you went on to play volleyball.
Yeah, I played in college like Carrie did. I started at Skyline, and then I played at San Francisco State.
And do you still play today?
No, not anymore. My gym time is usually spent doing other things.
And Carrie?
So I am currently a special education teacher here in Pacifica.
And tell me about that.
So it's sort of a career change. I'm in my 5th year of teaching. I've always loved special education. I've been coaching Special Olympics for 17 years, coaching volleyball. So I finally, after my kids are a little bit older, I went back to school, and now I get to give back.
And how did you get involved with the Special Olympics? Because I know you've been there a long time.
I've always had a passion for special education, and I was a volleyball player. So I just kind of volunteered one day, and I showed up, and then 17 years later, I'm still there, showing up every year.
And you also went to college and played volleyball.
Yes, I played 4 years at San Francisco State.
And you even continued on after that. So tell us about that.
So after my senior year, I was given the opportunity to play over in Dijon, France, and so I played on a Division II team over there.
I might also add that both Tanya and Carrie are members of the City of Pacifica Sports Hall of Fame, which both of them were inducted several years ago. In fact, Tanya, I think you were in that first class, if I don't forget.
I think I was.
Yeah.
Way back then.
Way back then, right. Well, the 10 girls on that team really had a special bond, I think. They were a talented group of athletes. 5 players, as I recall, were named to the San Mateo County All-League or best players at that time. Doreen went on to be the Player of the Year.
Player of the Year, yes.
So tell us about that. How did that happen, Tanya?
Well, as far as Doreen had to be our Player of the Year. She was the setter, and she ran the whole team. She was actually a coach on the court. She did all the coaching for me on the court and just ran this team. But we had such a talented team. We were fortunate to have 5 members on the all-league team. We should have had probably more, but it couldn't be an all Terra Nova team. So.
It could have been.
It should have been.
Well, the team recently held a reunion with all the ladies showing up, most of them. And this is probably a good time to mention the other players on the team. And, of course, you have a picture right there that might show what they looked like back in 1983.
Yes, this picture was taken 30 years ago after our championship win. And this was the picture that was submitted to the state tournament. And members of that team, this was Patty and Carrie, Erica, Donna, Susie, Bobby, Cheryl, Mia, Yolanda, and Doreen.
Now, let me ask, how many people still live locally?
Almost all of them live locally here.
In the Bay Area?
In the Bay Area, yes.
Do they?
Bobby lives in Southern California, but I think everybody else is pretty local in the Bay Area.
Do some of them still play volleyball? I remember talking to Cheryl Cruz. She told me one time she started a volleyball camp.
Right.
Can you elaborate
I know
on that?
she's a bike rider.
Yeah, and I think she ran some leagues in San Francisco. She was running some volleyball leagues, I think in downtown San Francisco, some outdoor leagues.
And you have a current photo of all the young ladies.
Yes, this was taken about a month ago at our reunion, and here we are again with Carrie, Yolanda, Mia, Doreen, Erica, Cheryl, Susie, and Bobby. Bobby came all the way down from Southern California, and we were lucky to have everybody there, almost everybody.
Yeah, she was telling me that her dad really wanted her to
Yes.
Yeah.
come. Maybe
Yeah.
Doreen, tell me about that.
Yeah, she wasn't going to be able to make the flight up, and her dad said, "You got to do it. You got to do it." And so she actually spent the weekend with Yolanda, and they had a great time. But she was super happy that she could make it up there. It was fun. It was like we had never left each other.
Right.
Picked up right. We had it at Carrie's house. Thank you, Carrie. And as you can see, this banner right here that we're all holding is the banner we have in the back, and just super proud of what we did and how together and tight we are. When Tanya's talking about talent, Susie got a scholarship, correct?
And back then, scholarships were, far and few in between. And Susie went to St. Mary's in Orinda and played volleyball over there. But, getting this reunion together was amazing because it was so simple. I wasn't sure if everybody was still connected, if they were still interested. But, man, we just got the word out just like that, and everybody was in. So that was really exciting.
Thanks to Carrie for holding it.
Well, thanks to
Yeah.
Horace for bringing all this up, too,
Yes.
Horace. It's
started it.
amazing.
I think it was great. I mean, to think about 30 years as something
Yes.
phenomenal, and you accomplished that. That hasn't been done since that time, and who knows, it may never happen again. But you can look back in 100 years from now and say, hey, we did something like that. But Doreen, I want to just jump into about the banner. We talked about it before.
Yeah.
But this is something that the school does every
Yeah,
time, right?
Yeah, it's been a tradition of Terra Nova High School. If you go into our gym, you're going to see banners from way back in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and whenever a team does something like we did, the CCS, you'll see CCS banners up there. You'll see coaches' banners if coaches win a certain amount, MVPs. The boys have all theirs from way back then, and the girls. So we take pride. Terra Nova takes pride in their student athletes, and if you walk into that gym, you're going to see that, and it's nice.
Now, as I recall, you were up there for the senior athlete of that year back there, weren't you?
Yes, I am.
You
Yes,
must have
I am.
walked
And my
away with
siblings.
everything at
My
that, yeah.
siblings too. If you go in
Yeah.
there, there's a few of us that have our names up there. So yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Now, this is where I'm going to step back for a couple or 2 or 3 minutes, or even more than that, and let the three ladies just reminisce and take us down 30 years of memory what happened then and bring us up to today, and just really tell about all the anecdotal stories that they may have that took them from Pacifica to the Northern California tournament, all the way down to Southern California to play in the state championship. Unfortunately, they did not win, but they played, and to be represented in the state tournament speaks a lot for the school. So, Tanya, I'm going to let you start off and just say what happened and where everybody went, and
Okay.
tell us about that year.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, I brought these players up when they were sophomores, and I was very lucky to have a group of extremely talented athletes on the team. So not only were they all talented, but they were committed, and they were good friends off the court, and that's very unique and very hard to find. And I described them as having the 3 Ds, which is the desire to get better and to win, the determination to work hard, and the dedication to keep with it. We had double workouts. We worked out in the summer, and they can tell you about
Chip
some of the
in, you
brutal-
guys. Yeah, chip
brutal
in.
workouts.
Weight training, thank you very much.
Back then,
Yeah, circuit training.
girls-
Nobody was doing
nobody
that.
was doing weight training, and we did. Circuit training, running.
Running on the track, running bleachers, long summer days.
A lot of jumping. But it's different from sports nowadays, where when you get a student the freshman year, they've played years and years of sports. Back then, this is the first time I've ever played volleyball, was my freshman year in high school, and Susie didn't play until she was a sophomore.
Right.
And I don't think that was a common amongst us back then. Was when you put somebody on the court, it's probably the first time they've touched a volleyball. So we had to put in that time to be able to get where we needed to be, and so we're very
You
lucky.
talked about Susie. Is this?
That's Susie right here, and Susie was probably one of the most powerful hitters around at that time. Carrie was our other middle, but Carrie was more of a finesse.
Yeah, this is Carrie right
Yeah,
here.
Carrie was a finesse
Hitting.
player. I mean, she can pound the ball, or she can just put it where they're not, and that's what volleyball is about. It's not always about power; it's about putting the ball where they're not. Doreen, like I said, ran the team. And she had to do things that the other players didn't have. She had to know where everybody was, what place, what sets they all wanted. So she had a very, very difficult job to do. And I also want to add Mia and Erica. They were our left side. We call them our left side hitters. I've got a shot of Erica over here. And they were fantastic defensive players. They were all over the court. It all comes from the defense, from the pass. So if you don't have a good pass, it doesn't matter how good of a setter you are, you can't get the ball. And if you don't have a good setter, it doesn't matter how good of a hitter you are. But it all comes to, they do the hard work.
Now let me ask you a question. How did you get involved in volleyball?
Well, I played volleyball at Terra Nova, and then I went on and played at SF State. And then position opened. Actually, I started with basketball with Jim Soden, but the volleyball position opened. And I enjoy the game, and I wanted to teach the game. And back then, like what Doreen was saying, they didn't really play volleyball. And so I kind of brought them to the next level of what the collegiate volleyball looked like back then, and what the workouts looked like.
Talk about collegiate. Tell me about that season at the high school. How tough was that?
First